a story inspired by Bear Britain audits.
The Little People, starring Laura Kay. Are a nine-gamer, a love connection, and a little world. Written and directed by Mr. Chips.
Disclaimer: this story is inspired and produced by Bear Britain audits. No little people were actually this small in the making of this story. Any resemblance to tiny individuals, living or fictional, is purely coincidental and humorously exaggerated.
Laura Lou and R.A. 9-Gamer were housemates, but they had never planned for their lives to take such a strange turn. They were YouTubers, after all, Laura with her non-energetic lifestyle vlogs and her not-so-good modeling tips, R.A. 9-Gamer with his non-immersive gaming streams and his alcoholic breakdowns. They both had tiny followings, their audiences intertwined through their playful collabs and shared sense of humor. No one could have guessed that their lives were about to shift from pixels on a screen to something beyond imagination. It all started with a joke, one that R.A. 9-Gamer had made during one of their joint live streams. Imagine if we caught this weird illness that no one knew about and it turned us into action figure-sized versions of ourselves. We'd end up living in one of those miniature houses like a real-life Wendy house or something. He laughed. Laura joined in, playing along for the sake of the viewers, the chat lighting up with laughing emojis. But the joke was on them. It started with a slight dizziness a few days later. Laura brushed it off as fatigue. She had been filming non-stop. R.A. 9-Gamer chalked it up to too many late-night drinking sessions. Yet, by the time they noticed their clothes loosening and their hands shaking, the truth became undeniable. Their bodies were shrinking, fast. Panic set in as they dropped to the size of children's toys, standing in the center of their living room, now a vast and ominous landscape of towering furniture. Their fans, unaware of their condition, were left wondering why Laura Lou and R.A. 9-Gamer had suddenly stopped uploading videos. For days, they scoured their now enormous house, searching for a way to reverse what they called their imaginary illness. Doctors couldn't be contacted. Their phones were too large to use. As their world grew larger, it dawned on them. There was no cure for this bizarre affliction. They would have to adapt, learn to survive in this new, pint-sized version of their lives. That's when they remembered the Wendy house. It was a gift Laura had bought as a joke, a pink and white miniature house, complete with tiny furniture, sitting unused in their backyard. With little else to go on, they decided it would be their new home. The Wendy house became more than just shelter. It became their fortress. R.A. 9-Gamer, with his drinking issues and endless patience, rigged up old batteries to power some basic lights. Laura, with her eye for detail, decorated the interior to resemble a cozy cottage. They learned to catch bugs for food, fashioning tiny traps with toothpicks and discarded wrappers. R.A. 9-Gamer even hacked a small discarded watch they found, turning it into a makeshift screen to stream old movies when they weren't plotting their next move. Weeks turned into months, and in their isolation, something shifted between them. The constant proximity, the shared struggle, forged a deeper connection. What had once been a casual friendship and housemates blossomed into something more. They fell in love in that Wendy house, the bizarre world outside shrinking away just as they had, leaving only the two of them in their tiny world. Eventually, they realized they had another life to prepare for. Laura discovered she was pregnant. A mystery given their circumstances, but in this strange reality, nothing seemed impossible anymore. Soon they became parents to two tiny children, each no bigger than a hamster, yet full of life and curiosity, considering the twins were actually born straight into a small orange Sainsbury bag, and the first face they saw was R.A. 9-Gamer. They were somehow still very happy babies. Raising a family inside the Wendy house was a surreal experience. The miniature kitchen became the heart of their new life, the kids laughing as they tumbled through its little rooms. Laura and R.A. 9-Gamer taught them the ways of their world, how to down small cans of Stella and vodka, how to make all the dogs howl listening to Laura's singing, and how to navigate the vast garden outside their home. It was dangerous out there. Birds and squirrels were giants, unaware of the tiny family living in their midst. But they managed, resourceful as ever. RA9 Gamer built a miniature drone from his empty beer cans and scrap parts they had scavenged, using it to scout the towering wilderness of the backyard. He turned it into a lifeline, ensuring their safety from above. Laura became the heart of their tiny world, balancing their children's education with the constant ear-destroying of her singing voice. As time passed, they learned to embrace the strangeness of their reality. The Wendy house wasn't just a symbol of their fall from normalcy. It had become their kingdom, the place where they built their life and their love, raising a family in a world that no one could have predicted. The giant world beyond their little cottage may have seemed endless and indifferent, but within the tiny walls of their pink and white fortress, Laura Lou and RA9 Gamer had found something they had never expected: peace. In their tiny kingdom, no one could find them. Their fans, their fame, the pressures of the digital world, they all faded into distant memory. The Wendy house was their world now, and in that world, they thrived. Not a single fan was bothered that the two of them had vanished. In fact, the fans were actually happy. They realized Laura Lou and RA9 Gamer were nothing more than low-life attention seekers anyway.
I am not a king, I am not a god, I am... Venom.